So welcome everyone to Yoga Therapy Thursday night, and feel free to leave your camera on if you'd like so I can see what you're doing, but your choice on that. Tonight we are working with our legs and feet and working with grounding and long exhales, what we call apanavayu, the downward flow of energy. So we'll be doing lots of that, so good for stress reduction. So just finding your spot, just lying down. You can, if you have a nice carpet or a yoga mat, you can use that. I just don't do that because it allows me to use my space a bit better for you guys for visual purposes. Just finding your space. I'm just starting to breathe, and I'm just going to angle that camera down a bit more so you can see me a little better. You can bend your knees if you like. A little better. So just notice what your back prefers, legs straight, legs bent. And when you're ready, just start doing a big exhale, long exhale. Inhale, expand the belly. Exhale. Inhale, expand the belly. Exhale. Inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Now, if this hurts your neck and shoulders, to go all the way, you can put a big pillow or bolster behind you, or just don't bring your arms this far. You can also bring your arms to the sides. So make sure you've got room around you for lots of moving. So you can bring your arms up and down like you're doing snow angels. So that's an alternative. So just find what's comfortable for you. Moving your arms on the floor gives a lot of support, and it's more upper back, neck, and shoulders. Moving your arms in front, it's working your lower back muscles more. Pause between inhale and exhale. You've all studied with me before, so just encouraging you to inhale from the chest to the belly and exhale from the belly to the chest. Start to inhale before you start to move. And start to exhale before you start to move. You're still exhaling at the end of the movement. So the breath is longer than the movement. It starts and finishes each movement. Have that little pause between inhale and exhale. And we're just going to stay in the pose if that's comfortable, or keep it moving. So arms again can be all the way overhead, or just adjust them if you've got an injury in your neck and shoulders. Some of you have that. You might have a blanket or a block under your head. Your arms might be to the sides in that Y position or cactus, or even lower. Just find your pose. If it feels easy, palms together, or interlock the fingers. Maybe bring the feet together. So this is moving more classically, Tadaka Mudra. And in this pose, exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button, and chest falls. You do this with your legs bent if it feels better for your back. Now hold after exhale and draw that lower back to the floor. Release the lock
of the belly, and then inhale into the chest and into the belly. Maybe tuck the chin down at the end of the inhale. Jalandhara Bandha, and exhale, pelvic floor. The lower belly, belly button in. Draw everything in and up. Hold after exhale, the lower back comes to the floor, scooping the belly in and up. And then release that hold a little bit and start to inhale into the upper chest, middle chest, lower chest, full belly, chin in. Just those arms anytime if you're getting any tingling. Just keep this going your own time. Counting the breath, inhale 4 to 12 seconds, exhale the same. Hold after exhale, half the length of your exhale or less. This can be modified, arms lower. You could be lying on a rolled mat lengthwise from your head to your thoracic spine. You can bend your knees. You can put a bolster under the knees as well. So those are modifications. And this is a great way of just arriving into the body, into the breath, settling the mind. Working on that Apanavayu, that downward flow of energy with that exhale, releasing the arms, bringing the hands down. Hold after exhale extends that exhale effect. Just rest for a moment. Just notice your breath, notice the rise and fall of the breath. Notice any sense of grounding. Perhaps feeling yourself sinking into the floor, through your back body. From research, just lying on the floor is a very fast way to put us into relaxation. We're going to start working with the knees a little bit, and I'm going to invite you to make it harder by adding a layer of blocks or a small pillow. It's the hardest version of this. I'm using these soft blocks that we have in Vancouver here, or British Columbia, I should say, Half Moon. They're not in the States. So if you don't have these, you can just use a pillow and just be able to point and flex your feet. So I just want you to start by bringing your heels off the ground and pull up on the kneecaps. So we're targeting the knees now. You could even do one side at a time and just see any discrepancies between sides. So for example, for me, which my teacher in India noticed about 2008, he's like, "What's wrong with your right knee?" And I was like, And then I was like, oh, I gotta work on that. So ever since I've worked on it a bit more. So it's just naturally a bit weaker than the other one. So just kind of notice that before we start doing the asana. Just notice if one side's weaker than the other, lift that heel, then the other one, maybe both. Can you pull up on the kneecaps? Heels are off the ground, release. Try both. All right, let's add some breathing. We're going to do that Tadaka Mudra. So arms again can go at the sides to any height that's comfortable for you, or if you're comfortable, you can bring your arms overhead to the floor behind you. Now, as we do this, start with our arms up. I want you to exhale, lift those heels off and pull up on the kneecaps, flex your toes towards your nose as you bring your hands down by your hips. It's pretty tough, eh? All right, now I want you to point your toes and bring your arms overhead. Now, can you keep those heels off as you do that? If it's too much, you can always relax them. Either on the exhale, you can bring them down, or on the inhale. I'd suggest doing it on the exhale. So inhale, I'm going to lift my heels off and pointing my toes. Exhale, flexing toes towards the nose. I'm going to leave my heels off, but you could relax the heels at that point. Just keep this going your own time, up and down, very simple. Now, if you prefer, you can do one side at a time. You want to target one leg at a time. You can use opposite arm to leg or same arm to leg. So those are all variations. You could keep that hold after exhale. We've been working on pulling up on the pelvic floor to the belly button. That makes it even harder. Really pull up on those kneecaps. So I remember teaching this to the volleyball team at Chaplin University about, I don't know, 2005, something like this. And they said it was the hardest pre-game workout they'd ever done. And I basically had them do this and a few other things. So it's very, very strengthening. If you've got weakness in your legs, especially around the knees, this can be very, very effective. Probably feeling those stabilizing muscles working all around your knees. And let's give it a rest. Whew. Actually, surprisingly hard, yeah? Okay, now just for fun, I didn't do this on my Sunday class, so you guys are gonna get this. We're gonna do Charlie Chaplin feet, and I like doing this because I used to be a ballet dancer back in the day, and this reminds me of floor bar. So turn your feet out, and my heels are off the ground, my legs are straight, and I'm pointing my toes as I inhale and flexing my toes as I exhale. I think I said that wrong. Pointing my toes as I inhale and flexing my toes as I exhale. And you can add the arms. So for this one, you could add the arms to the sides, for example, just for some variation, or again, overhead. I'm just going to bring mine to the sides just for a change of pace. And just notice how this feels differently than the previous one. I know some of you have some arthritis in your feet and your toes. I know some of you have knee issues, so hopefully this will be helpful. And again, you can relax the heels on the ground as you exhale if it's too much. And I forgot to tell you this, if you have hyperextension, put those blocks under the knees to give the knees more support. Okay, if you're hypermobile in your knee joints, I think that applies to any of you, but if it does, that is an option. You might be getting some cramping in your legs. You've been not using your legs too much today and sitting. All right, and give it a rest. And just notice how your legs are quite activated. So that might be your yoga practice. That could be a little yoga break that you would do during the day. All right, now we're going to put these two together. So it's going to be hard on your brain. So inhale, you're going to point your toes and turn your feet out. Exhale, you're going to flex your feet and bring your feet together. So I'm going to actually show this right towards the camera. So you can see very, very easily, and I'm going to do it seated so you can see it even better. So inhale, you're going to point and turn out. Exhale, you're going to flex and turn in. Inhale, point, turn out. Exhale, flex, turn in, and then you can do the opposite way. Inhale, open, point, exhale, turn in, flex. You can do this with or without the blocks. If your knees are tired, you can try it without the blocks. It's easier. So I wouldn't suggest doing any arm movement for this one. Just focus on those feet. Just put the arms anywhere you like. And just feel that synovial fluid reuptake, perhaps. Just kind of have that sensation that you're lubricating your knees as you move in these directions. This is based on something I learned from my teachers in India, but I've made it a little bit tougher. And this is what was given to me when my teacher realized my right knee was a little weaker than my left one. And I have less pain in my knees now than I did at age 25, so I figure that's a good thing. Yay, yoga. In this class, if you're doing it later by video, you could put toe spreaders between your toes. Great way to work on those toes at the same time. And just finishing up. And just rest for a moment. And again, if you have one knee that's a little different than the other, you're probably going to feel that quite a bit right now. All right, let's stretch those legs. Let's give the muscles a bit of a break. Let's just passively stretch with a belt rather than use the muscles quite so much. So why don't you take your belt and just make it a nice long loop. And you can start with your left leg if you like. I'm starting with my right so you can see me a bit better. Put your opposite foot at the wall if that's an option, or your leg can be bent. Okay, so either is fine. Supta Padangustasana, Ekapada. So this is a one-sided version of having both legs up. And classically, we're holding the big toe with our first two fingers. But for most of us, it's very helpful to use the belt. So really flexing the toes towards the nose. And again, can you straighten the legs? So if you've been in in-person classes with me, I'll wander around and touch your thigh and say, hey, wake up thigh, and get you to straighten your leg. Now, if you can't do that because your hamstrings, bring your foot more forward until you can. And you could even have your foot at the wall. Okay, so straighten the legs so you get a stretch through your calf into your hamstrings. Just see where your place is. And when you're ready, let's work those hamstrings in a different way. You're going to exhale, bend your knee. This is also great for your knee. Bend your knee and bring your knee towards your shoulder. And then inhale, straighten your leg and try to keep your foot really straight. I've got the belt on the ball of my foot. That's how I was taught with my Iyengar yoga teacher. That was her cueing on it, and I do find that helpful. Other people have different ideas on that, so I'd invite you to explore what you think is best. I'm bringing that knee towards my right knee, towards my right shoulder. And then inhale and hold that belt in such a way that it feels comfortable for your hands, especially if you have arthritis in the fingers. Feel that stretch into the hamstrings behind your thigh. There's three of them. You might be feeling one of them more than the other. And let's switch sides. We're going to come back to that leg in a minute. This is such a simple way of getting into those legs. So for those of you who are very athletic, which I know at least a few of you are, do leg stretches often. Like a few times a week. So it will help you with your sports. Exhale, I want you to bend your knee. Sorry, let's just start by finding the alignment. So find where you are in space. do the same thing we did on the other side. So where are you going to put your foot? Try to keep the buttocks on the ground. So I've got my left leg up. I'm trying to really keep that left buttocks on the ground to maximize the stretch into my 3 hamstrings. And you don't go as far when you do that. You can bend that opposite leg always to help you do that. You can put a bolster or block underneath that leg so you can rest. You can put that opposite foot up the wall to help you lengthen through the hip. When you're ready, bend the knee. Feel that stretch into the back of the thigh, the hamstrings. Now, straighten the leg and you'll feel the stretch more into the calf and possibly also the hamstrings if you're able to really straighten the leg. So if you ski, if you run, if you walk a lot, hike, this is a great recovery pose as well as a preparation pose for sports. And yes, you can always be using one hand. Some people prefer to use one hand, which is a little bit more like the classical holding with the big toe. I like using both hands just to get a little bit more of an even pressure through both sides of my foot. So that's my reason for that. I'm going to keep those shoulders down so I can see some of you are lifting your shoulders on the inhale. Try to loop them down so you're not getting any secondary issues with neck and shoulders. I'm doing this. Okay. That should be starting to feel a little better, warming up that inner thigh as well. Switching sides, it's going to feel different now. Now we're just going to either just stay here now, or if you want to add a little movement, you're going to inhale, point the toes away from you and stretch the front of the foot. So point those toes with a little resistance into the belt, and then exhale, flex the toes towards the nose. Really flex that foot as much as you can. Keep the buttocks down, so try not to go too far towards your face. And just keep that going, that movement, working the foot, working the ankle, getting them involved. This also is flossing the nerves. For those people who have sciatic nerve issues, which is none of you, this can be a helpful modification. You'd probably just hold the back of the thigh, not use the belt if you have that problem. Keep those shoulders down, loop them down, if that works for your body. Everything I say is just a suggestion. Ultimately, it's up to you to make those choices based on what is working best for your body. Especially in an online environment. So I can sense you all a bit more. When you're ready, you're going to switch sides. Hopefully that feels really nice. Some people prefer to do this one before the last one, but it depends. Just find the pose. You might just stay here. You might prefer that. Just stay. Or point, and flex. Flex as hard as you can so you can really feel the calf stretching. Use that ankle. Stretch the front of the foot as the point. This is also really great for the lymphatic system, the venous system, getting the blood moving from the legs back to the heart after maybe standing all day. When you're ready, you're going to put both feet in that belt. And then I'm going to invite you to make prayer position with your hands if you've got the belt looped, and bring your hands towards your heart. Just stay here and breathe if that's comfortable. Hold a different way. Some Iyengar teachers teach with a big belt and they put it behind their head. So if you know how to do that, you could also try that, but be careful. Just rest here, try to rest. This is a semi-inversion now, it's not so much of a stretch. Focus on the breath now. Focus on long exhale, contracting the pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. Maybe add a hold after exhale. Feel that lower back coming into the floor. That hold after exhale, you might find very grounding. When you're ready, coming out of it. Release that belt. I'm going to go back to some strength work. Just notice how you feel. So you can always bend your knees rather than have them straight when you rest. Now we're going to work one leg at a time. This one is working with the whole leg, the foot, and the core. You're going to inhale, you're going to bring both arms up, or you could just bring one arm up, same arm's leg or opposite. Exhale, you're going to draw one leg along the floor. Now I like to do this one with the mat, fold it in half if I do have a mat, but you can actually do this with a mat. I tried it the other day and it does work. Bring that knee to your chest. Now I'm not even holding the knee, but you can certainly hold it, yes. So that's an Ekapada Apanasana. Let's just actually start with that. Inhale, I wasn't going to teach that, but let's do that. This is actually lovely also for the lower back. I know some of you have lower back stuff. Exhale, let's drag that heel along the ground. You could just have your hands by your sides or hold your knee, your shin, and bring it into your chest. So this is actually a variation of connecting Tadaka Mudra, this first pose, and Apanasana, means chest, Ekapada, one foot at a time, one leg at a time. Might be feeling a little bit of a thigh stretch in the opposite leg. A psoas stretch, hip stretch. Definitely, this is a wonderful pose to do for your lower back. Really lovely pose. Okay, we're going to add on, since our focus isn't totally lower back today, I'm going to add on back to the legs. So I'm going to exhale. I'm going to draw that knee to the chest, and you can keep hugging it in if you like, or just bring your hands to the side, your choice on that. And then inhale, bring the leg to the sky. And you could, if you want more support, put your hands behind the thighs, so you might feel better with that. And then exhale, bring your knee to your chest. So I'm not showing all the arm movements yet. And then inhale, extend that leg out, another side. So keep the arms going up and down, or I'm just going to show this variation because I can see some of you doing it and you're inspiring me to show a variation. So exhale, draw your knee, your other knee into your chest, and you can hug that knee. And then inhale, you can hold behind the thigh and stretch that leg up, or your arms could be overhead now. Exhale, bring your knees to your knee to your chest. And then inhale, extend. So thanks for that inspiration. I actually quite like that variation. Now I'm going to show it without using the hands on the leg. Exhale. Try to use that core to draw your leg in. So drag, 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 and pull it up using the pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. Inhale, extend the leg up. Now you can bend the opposite leg as you do this. Not to mention that. Give less range of motion. Exhale, drawing it in as your knees cups back. Inhale, extend. Exhale, drawing in the knee, hands by your sides, by your hips. Inhale, extend up. Exhale, draw the knee in, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. So try to use the core to move the leg. Inhale, coming down. So really try to drag the heel on the ground as you draw the knee in, so your core is working. And just keep this going. I think you've all got it. Looks like. Let's finish up your last round. Exhaling as you bend, inhale as you extend. Always bend that opposite leg as you come up, just to help you get your leg up there. When you're ready, bring your arms down, resting. Your legs can be straight or your legs can be bent. Just rest. Rest the breath. Rest the body. Okay. So just for fun, we're going to do both legs. This is core work as well. If it's too much, do one leg at a time. Inhale, arms coming up. Tuck the chin in if you can as the arms come overhead. Exhale, bringing the arms by your side. Drag your heels, both heels. Drag, drag, drag. Now you should feel your core, the transversus abdominis, working all the way from the pelvic floor to the belly button. The slower you do it, the harder you'll have to work. Inhale, extend up, legs up, arms up. This part's going to be easier. Exhale, bring those toes down. So let's bring the toes down a little bit ahead so we work that core a bit more. Yoga, that core is called Mula Bandha. Inhale, extend. So this is working on tracking of the knees. It's working on pelvic floor strength. It's working on Apana Vayu, that downward flow of energy. Just keep it going. Exhale, drawing in. This is your grounding. It comes through that pelvic floor work to your belly button. That's an energetic flow in yoga we call Apana. Belly button down to the feet. And some of you, if you want to challenge yourself, you can try bringing one leg up at a time, or even both. If you want, you can drag that opposite leg bent to help you facilitate this. It's an easy variation. From Tadaka Mudra to Ekapada Padangustasana. And we're really working the core. And perhaps Urdhva Prasarita the full pose. So be careful with this one. If you're using both legs, you might want to have them a bit bent as you come down. You want to keep that lower back coming to the floor as you exhale. So you might be shaking right now. It's okay. And the classical is the legs all the way down the legs all the way up. Okay, I think you're probably ready to rest. You notice that your thighs have gotten tight, which you feel mine firing a little bit. It just means that you probably should back up. One of the variations of that the classical tonight, I was like, that's probably not working so well. Okay, so if you feel other muscles starting to get working rather than your core, just do something simpler. Just rest for a minute. And we're going to move into Dvipadipiyam, so bridge pose. So to work the inner thighs, for this one, I want you to put a block between the thighs, unless you know you prefer pressing out into a belt. You can also use a belt and a block. We're just going to start with our hands down. So the center of gravity is a little lower. You're going to inhale, lift the hips up. Feel a nice stretch in front of the thighs. And exhale down. Inhale up. And exhale down. After you've done 3 to 4 of those, I want you to play with bringing one foot forward. See how that changes things. Can you feel the knee of the foot that's closer to you? Can you feel that working a little bit more? The thigh, the knee. Can you feel the opposite side getting a bit more of a stretch? Play with how far out you put that foot. And then let's switch sides after you've done around 4 on one side. Try the other side. It's not a perfect pose with the block, but the block will add a little bit more stability as you come up. Just feel the opposite leg. So the heel that's closest to you, are you feeling that knee, that glute, that leg a bit more, working a bit more, and the opposite side stretching? This can be used if you've got a problem in one knee. If it's a little weaker than the other, you can play with this asymmetric bridge. And if you've got one glute that's a little weaker than the other, you also feel it there. And then just coming out of that, after you've done that 4 to 6 times, and then your breath length. And then when you're ready, can you come up on both? So heels, knees aligned, lifting both hips up as much as you can. Just hold here for a few breaths. You want to lift a little higher. You can try rolling your shoulders underneath, holding your hands. Inhale, lift a little higher. Exhale, rest a little bit. Try to get your glutes working so that your tail is tucking under. And again, you might be feeling one of your knees more than the other working. Focus is legs and feet and press into those feet too. And when you're ready, rolling down. I'm going to come back to that pose in a minute, but I'm going to give you a rest. So you're just going to bring your feet wide and you're going to exhale, bring the knees side to side. Inhale, center. Exhale, side, just side to side. And you feel complete, you're ready to do another round of bridge with some foot and leg variations. Come back to your position, trying to align your knees and ankles as much as you can, your feet hip width apart. You're going to inhale, lift your hips up, just find your alignment, find your pose. I always touch my heels with my fingertips and find my alignment that way. Now you might want your feet a little closer together for this one, because we're going to inhale, we're going to bring one leg up, if you can, and exhale, bring it down. Now you can bring your hips down as well between, or try to stay up. Inhale, come up, exhale, down. Now this is really good, this pose, for building strength in those hamstrings that we stretched. This is also, again, working with tracking of the knees, circulation, blood and lymph. Now, if you want to have some fun, you can inhale, extend your leg up, exhale, bend it towards your chest, inhale, bring it out in front of you, exhale, bring it down, and then do the other side. Inhale up, exhale, bend it in, inhale, extend out, exhale, down. If this is too much, just go back to the first one, just stepping back and forth. Inhale up, exhale, bend in, inhale, extend, exhale, down, inhale up, exhale, bend in, inhale, extend, exhale, down. Just do one more round. Inhale up, exhale, bend in, inhale, extend, exhale, down. You can play with pointing and flexing your feet. Inhale up, exhale, bend in, inhale, extend, exhale, down. Lift both hips up. Can you come up onto your toes? Then heels down. Come up onto your toes. If you need to take a rest, feel free to take a rest. Let's skip this last part. Down. Come up on your toes. Down. Last time. And rest. Windshield wipers side to side. Exhaling as you twist, just finishing up your last round. When you feel complete, bring your knees to your chest, and for this one I'm going to add a block, or you can use a pillow under the lower back. This is an option just to help you get a little bit more rounding through the lower back as you bring your knees to your chest. That's how your back is shaped, but it can be helpful to add that a little bit more inversion. Inhale, knees away. So I'm going to start by doing this without the hands, just to really work that apana. My feet are completely relaxed, so don't hold the feet Pilates style. Rest those feet. And start to exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. Hold after exhale, bring those knees to chest, hold. Inhale from your chest to your belly. And you want to release that lock before you start that inhale. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, draw it in. Hold after exhale. And inhale, knees away. Now you can add the hands, just feather touch. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. Hold after exhale. Draw everything in and out. And keep this going your own timing. You can do that hold after exhale. Again, you can use the arms or not. Just light support. So in the classical pose, we're holding knees the whole time. The pose is driven by the apana via the pelvic floor all the way to the belly button, the downward flow of energy. In this area of the body, it's the mula, but it's often also called the apana region. Prana region is in the chest, apana in the belly. Prana is all about inhale, and apana about exhale. And when you feel complete, I invite you to put your legs up the wall. 5 minutes of rest after all of that. And if you want to use a block underneath your pelvis, feel free in this pose. It's really nice to use a mat if you're going to use a bolster block under the buttocks. I'm just going to have freestyle without anything. I am going to use a belt. The belt, you can use a scarf. You can put on your thighs, you can put on your shins, you can put on your ankles, just above the ankles. That's where I'm going to put mine. You can also have 2 belts, one on your thighs and the other on your ankles or shins. You can also put a block between your feet if you tend to pronate the feet. You can put a hard block between the feet, a little bit wider feet, and put a block between those feet. So that's another option. I've also been known to tie people's feet together with a belt. If you've got some issues with pronation in your feet, you put a block there as well. We'll have to do that next week, the belt on the toe, pointing and flexing. That's a good one for strengthening the ankles. So just resting, finding your place. The point of the belt is to be able to rest the legs. You're not holding them as much with your muscles. And in this restorative pose, Viparita Karani. Just going to rest. If your hamstrings are tighter, move more away from the wall so you have more length. Also put your legs up a chair or on a couch. So just resting here. Now once you find your pose, can you work with the breathing? Inhale into the chest, into the belly. Exhale, draw the belly in, and the chest falls. Can you count the breath? Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you add a hold after exhale, engaging from the pelvic floor to the belly button? Hold 2 to 4 seconds. Keep this going. You can keep lengthening the breath, adding a second every 2 breaths to each part of that breath. Ujjayi pranayama, constricting the throat, making that oceanic sound. Then you can have a bolster, pillow, a block underneath the pelvis. Help the blood and lymph circulation. Inhale from the chest to the belly, exhale belly to chest, engaging pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button, and pull all of that in and up to engage Mula Bandha. Mula means root. Bandha means block. Strengthens the core, but also provides stability for the mind and grounding. Counting in your head. Get any tingling in your legs, bend your legs at any time, and then resume the pose or move into Shavasana if you've had enough. Just move into relaxation or stay for another 5 minutes. If you come to a maximum of your breath extension, just keep at that place or back off a little bit. And when you're ready to rest in that breath, pranayama. When you feel ready, you can start bending your legs and untying that belt. Bring your knees to your chest, move your pelvis away from the wall. rolling onto one side, staying here for a moment. Coming up to a comfortable seated position to close. And just notice how you feel. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Hari, Om. Namaste. Namaskaram.